The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening all, I'm Shashina Rule. As always, it is so great to have you with us. Topping news, more heat for the developers of the proposed aragonite harvesting and manufacturing project earmarked for East Grand Bahama. Last Thursday, developers held a meeting with residents to discuss the proposal for what they estimate will be a $50 million investment at Bursa's Key off East End. Tonight, an environmental activist says the decision for such an investment should be made by that community.
The proposed aragonite project at East End highlights one of the greatest tragedies of the Bahamas.
That's how noted attorney Fred Smith described the $50 million proposed project by the Nassau Island Development Company to invest in harvesting and manufacturing aragonite in East Grand Bahama. During a town meeting last week, officials noted that they were awaiting government approval for the green light. But Smith says it is a failure not to realize that every community should have the right to make decisions on their future.
Every decision about the family islands is made in Nassau, whether they know what's going on in the communities or not. And that's the big problem. So my position is the people of East End need to decide whether they want to have aragonite mined in their backyard. Bursa's Key is a national treasure. It is an international treasure. Bursa's Key has been recognized by the American Audubon Society as one of the key areas where hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of birds migrate from the north through the Bahamas and south during the winter.
Smith says he attended the town meeting hosted by Nassau Island developers.
Person after person spoke against the development, how they have their way of life there, how the environment sustains them. When they can't get a job in Freeport, they can go and get their conch, they can go and get their lobster, they can go and get their fish. They live a pastoral and beautiful lifestyle that is organic and that is in symphony with the environment. It doesn't destroy the environment. Aragonite farming will be very destructive. Now, I know we need jobs. I know we need to develop industries in the Bahamas. We know that aragonite is a wonderful national resource. But again, if it's a resource, then it should be harvested by the people of Grand Bahama and or East Grand Bahama, because it belongs to us up here.
In fact, he says profits should go to the people of East Grand Bahama, and the national revenue, not a private development company in Nassau.
Everybody whose interests are affected in that environment are to be consulted, because the people sitting in Nassau behind a desk have no idea what the conditions are like out east. And so the scientists should weigh in, those for the developer, and those, and that's why consultation is important, because and you have to give out the documents, give an opportunity for inspection, not be secret, make them available to the public, so that those who are affected can hire their own experts if they want, or hire lawyers if they want to check, hire environmentalists, have their own studies done, and make representations so that the decision makers can have the benefit of everything before them.
Now, ZNS News also spoke with Minister of Environment Kenra Dorset late this afternoon. The minister confirms that no approval has been granted in relation to application of aragonite mining at Bursa's Key. He says, however, the Ministry of Grand Bahama is coordinating a town meeting for his ministry this Thursday so that he can speak with residents on this project. He says the residents of East Grand Bahama concerns will be taken into consideration. And Public Relations Officer K. Forbes Smith is also responding to environmental activist attorney Fred Smith. In an interview late this afternoon, Smith says Nassau Island Developers is following the rules and laws of the Bahamas. Smith says it is important for the residents to be aware of what is being done in their community, adding that the town meeting was also held to clear up any misinformation.
NID never indicated that any approval had been given for the project. And the main reason for the town meeting really was to explain to the residents of East Grand Bahama what was being planned by the developer. And that was the purpose of the meeting. And so we take everything that they say with a degree of importance, because we realize that anything in anyone's community, they obviously have to be aware of what's going on, and they obviously will have some comments as to what they feel is positive or negative about a development.
Now, she says a final environmental impact assessment was not presented at the meeting, but notes that an EIA scope report has been done and given to the government and F.E.S Commission. Smith says people must pay attention to all aspects and not rush to judgment. She says there's a lot of interest in aragonite throughout the country.
That Mr. Smith indicated that person after person came to the meeting and they had some problem with the project. But, you know, there were a lot of people in the meeting from just general areas from throughout Freeport. A lot of them may not have had any comment, but there were a number of them that did make some comments. And I think, if my memory serves me correct, there were about 4 people from who identified themselves as bone fishing guides and fishermen who objected to the project because they're saying that if the project is going to interfere with their way of life, they couldn't support the project. And then there were a number of people that we talked to as well who said that they wanted to get more information about the project, and that more information will come as a result of a final EIA.
Minister for Grand Bahama, Dr. Michael Darville, joining Minister of Foreign Affairs Fred Mitchell, paying a courtesy call on the President of Qatar. The Bahamas is showcasing itself as a secure country for investment. The Bahamas established diplomatic relations with Qatar last year. Qatar's Washington ambassador visited the Bahamas and in particular Grand Bahama, where he was hosted by Minister Darville. A 52-year-old visitor reportedly drowned in waters off Guanakee, Abaco yesterday. Police tell us that around 5 p.m. Sunday, a group of American visitors were traveling on board a boat from Guanakee to Hopetown when several men went into the water. One of the men reportedly began experiencing difficulties and was assisted back on board, where CPR was administered. The visitor was then taken to Marsh Harbor, where emergency personnel were waiting, but he was pronounced dead at the Marsh Harbor Clinic. Police are actively investigating this matter. And police on Grand Bahama investigating a hit-and-run accident that has left 3 teenagers with injuries. The accident reportedly occurred shortly after 1 a.m. on Saturday, involving a vehicle that was described as a silver or white Chevy Cobalt. Reports are that the driver ran off the northern side of East Sunrise Highway in the area of the East Sunrise Shopping Center and struck the teenagers walking east along East Sunrise Highway, causing injuries to all 3 of them. The driver reportedly fled the scene. The 3 injured males were taken to the Rand Memorial Hospital and treated for their injuries. One of the injured is said to be listed in serious condition and the others are in stable condition. Now, police say that driver, a 22-year-old male resident of Hudson Estates, turned himself into the traffic division shortly before 3 o'clock yesterday afternoon. Police are continuing their investigations into this matter. And police say the investigation into the murder of British visitor 56-year-old Edgar George Dart is progressing. Dart was visiting Grand Bahama over a month ago when he was shot and killed at his mother's house over the bridge in Emerald Bay following an alleged home invasion. Assistant Commissioner of Police Emerick Seymour says that they feel pretty good as to where they are in this investigation, and he says that they are working diligently to bring the case to a close. A reward of $25,000 was issued late last month for information leading to the arrest and conviction of the person or persons responsible for Dart's murder.
We have been receiving some information that we're following as a result of the reward notices that are currently out in the Edward Dart matter. We continue to give that our full support and undivided attention so that we want to bring that matter to closure. As I mentioned in the previous recording, we want to satisfy the family and of course satisfy members of the community. And so we are doing our best to wrap this matter in the shortest possible time.
Now, if you can assist police with solving this or any other criminal investigation, you're asked to contact 911, 919, or the nearest police station. Stay with us. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, continues right after this.
Bringing news that matters to you. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Welcome back. Vice President at the Grand Bahama Port Authority, Ginger Moxie, is wrapping up her tenure with the company. Appointed in 2009, Moxie served as the Vice President of the Grand Bahama Port Authority Limited and Port Group Limited, with responsibility for corporate relations and administration, community relations, employee relations, public relations and marketing, business and government relations. Tonight, Sabrina Brown talks with Moxie about her tenure at the port and her future plans.
Ginger Moxie's career at the Grand Bahama Port Authority started at the tender age of 12 after she received a scholarship from the company.
I was a student at the Martintown Primary School, and I won a scholarship for academic excellence to attend Freeport Anglican High School from the port. And the scholarship covered tuition, but I needed books, and of course I needed a uniform. So I came to the port and asked for a job.
Over the years, Moxie climbed the corporate ladder, reaching the executive post of Vice President.
I've always had strong work ethics, always focused, and went above and beyond the call of duty. And I think that as a result of that, I was promoted 6 times in 3 years at one point. So I was marketing officer, then became public relations manager, and then director of business development, marketing and public relations, and then senior director of corporate relations and administration, and then vice president of the Grand Bahama Port Authority Limited and Port Group Limited.
Moxie says the establishment of the Business Development Unit, Customer Relations Department, and the GBPA Volunteer Club are some of her greatest accomplishments at the port, but there was at least one goal she wasn't able to achieve.
One of the things that didn't happen, and I thought should have happened, was a micro fund for entrepreneurs who wanted to get into business that impacted the city. And so I still believe that there's an opportunity for that.
Moxie will continue on as a consultant for the Port Group of companies, and she says she's optimistic about the future of Grand Bahama.
The president is away right now in meetings on a number of business development initiatives. And I think that you're soon going to see the signs of, actually you're seeing the signs already, but things are going to soon come to fruition. But it's been a long journey, and you know, I'm happy by what I see happening, that about what I know it's happening in the background. And so,
as she prepares to close one chapter in her life, Moxie is getting set to pursue other business interests.
I found a way to marry my passion for our people, our communities, our culture, and our experiences with a business model that is a destination management company, destination and project management company, and it involves giving back to the community.
Sabrina Brown, ZNS Network News.
Sunlight Baptist Academy taking time out during Teachers Appreciation Week to show true appreciation to the educators at that institution. A special assembly and luncheon was hosted on Friday in honor of those who helped to mold the minds of the nation's youth. Megan Shepard has this story.
Teachers and administrators at Sunland Baptist Academy being honored at a special ceremony this past Friday during Teachers Appreciation Week. The teachers were treated to a special day filled with performances by the students. President of the PTA, Bonnie Baston, says that it's very important to express love, care, and appreciation to the dedicated teachers of the school.
It isn't easy being a teacher. It started off by the students met the teachers at their various vehicles and escorted them to the staff room, where we had the staff room nicely decorated, and then they escorted them to the special assembly, and we had poetry, we had skits, we had dance, we had raps, we had a whole morning of activities for the teachers, and we're having a special luncheon for them today.
Principal Merton King says it was a very timely tribute to the teachers, adding that the teachers are hardworking and deserve their special day.
They do need the encouragement. Like I say, the task is great, and really and truthfully the community depends on us. We are as good as the students that we produce, and so we have to encourage our teachers to keep them going.
King also added the important role teachers play in forming the next generation.
Nowadays, teachers have been challenged on every side. We are teaching a new generation. They are intelligent, and teachers have to stay on top of their games. Students spend more time with the teachers in the classroom than they are at home with their parents while they are awake. And so it's crucially important for us to be there for our children, to give them the knowledge that they need so that they can become well-rounded adults.
Megan Shepard, ZNS Network News.
Well, students have interacted at the Interact Club at Jack Hayward High School, learning more about the importance of helping the community. This past Saturday, the students spent time assisting with the cleanup and beautification of the Richard Gator Park in Pioneers Loop. Now, the undertaking was supervised by 2 educators at that institution. Wilton Murray led the group of students seeking to do a good deed for the Pioneers Loop community.
So to get the children involved in the outside world beyond the classroom, we thought to bring them here to the park today. It's an initiative where we have formed along with Shavita Campbell. She's a guidance counselor there, and she has exposed us to various community service that we are able to take advantage of. The first one we did was the Humane Society, and today we are working with the Wellington Ferguson Park and Mr. Wellington Ferguson to get an idea of what the park is all about. I think it gives them a sense of belonging, and it also gives them a sense of pride in what they have. For too long, I think our kids have been ungrateful. They don't know how to appreciate what's available to them. And a park such as this is something that should be preserved for future generations.
It was one of our objectives to come out in the community and support Mr. Ferguson and doing and operating, getting his park cleaned up and keeping out of trouble. The most important thing, finding our time, use it wisely in the community.
The beautification project was an idea organized by guidance counselor at Jack Hayward High School, Shavita Campbell.
And so therefore what we are doing today is a real surprise gift for the residents of this immediate area, being that they are not aware of what's going on, but they'll hear about it through the media. And basically, it's a nice park. This is a wonderful park where it offers you the basketball, the computer center, as well as playground field. I am one of community service. I believe education and teaching our children the best things forward propels them for greater. Community service is our best teachers. And basically, if you are willing to give up yourself, then you are able to give back to your community.
Stay with us. Ricardo Liborn has a check on sports when we return.
Hey everybody, it's time for Sports and Ricardo Liborn. Sports dedicated to the staff of O. Andros Restaurant down there in Nassau, Arawakee. Let me tell you, you guys keep doing what you're doing. I enjoyed the service and also the food, and Sheena missed out. Terrible. Well, 12 days in Canada, WF World Relays, Bahamas, May 24th and 25th in New Providence at the Thomas A. National Stadium. Well, 2 Grand Bahamas top female track and field athletes getting some much needed support off the Mondo this week as they prepare for the upcoming great season. A local businessman is assisting our athletes. For more on this, let's go to Megan Shepard.
Owner of Fast Track Management, Ravano Ferguson, assisting 2 of Grand Bahamas' best track athletes with their off-the-field development. Ferguson reached out to a local businessman in the fitness world and says that the Fitness Connection was more than willing to assist because both of the ladies has put in a lot of time and dedication into reaching their goals.
He's more impressed with the track record they had because both of them just came off the World Championship season last season. Both of them were named to that team. Shakitha was able to run on the international scene last year. And just to be, both of us are young entrepreneurs as of right now, and he's just willing to give back to these young ladies as they look to further their athletic careers.
The recipients of the day train with Coach Roger Charlton and say the supplements will come in handy as they push themselves even harder in the upcoming season.
I feel the gesture today is a really nice gesture. It's going to help us tremendously in being able to prepare ourselves mentally and physically to for World Relays and then Commonwealth Games and eventually CAC Games. In terms of training, it's coming along good. We're still tweaking a few things here and there to get the job done, but we're getting there slowly but surely.
I'm very grateful for the supplements. We train very hard. Roger doesn't take it easy on us, so it comes at a good time where we're stepping up our training. We have to have more intense workouts and also produce quality times. So I think it's the little things off the track that makes a difference. And I think this is one of the things that's going to help us.
Owner of the Fitness Connection, D'Amico Nesbitt, says he believes in supporting all sporting disciplines any way that he can and is happy to assist Henfield and Byfield in achieving their goal.
Sponsoring them some supplements and then giving them deeper discounts on some of the other stuff that they need for training and help them fuel their bodies and help them to perform the best that they can. Coach Ray reached out to me. He's a friend of mine. He asked me if I could help them out. He said they were working really hard and some of the top athletes on the island, so I said I'll support them the best I could.
Megan Shepard, ZNS Total Sports.
And Miko is going to get me some supplements so I can be like Mr. Bahamas. Anyhow, legacy baseball from the weekend. Here we go with the scoreboard. 11-12 Major Division. Rose Janitorial Red Sox nipped the match point Blue Jays 7-6. The 9-10 Major Division, it was the Bethel Dodgers outscoring the Hull Industries Blue Jays 16-1. The Paradox Rockies over the Hull Industries Blue Jays 15-3. As for the 7-8 Coach Pitch Division, here's what happened. The Burger King Rockies 10 and the HARBOUR Launchers Red Sox 3. The BAHAMAS Dodgers shutting out the Burger King Rockies 3-0. Also, the Grand Bahama Little League had some games played. Coach Pitch, the Kelly's West Indian Woodpeckers outscoring the HUGLO Harry Woodpeckers 12-4. Bahama Pirates down the Grandma Port Authority Lions 14-8. And the minor division, Pelican Bay Flyers got by Playtime Sports Predators 20-7. As for the majors, the Pelican Bay Flyers 9, the Borco Buccaneers 5. And on the big league board, Coca-Cola 0 Lions. They defeated the F.E.S. Predators 8-2. Over there in Abaco, they had Junior Baseball League this weekend. North Abaco defeating South Abaco 11-10. Cliffine Wright 3-for-4 at the plate, and Vernon Johnson got the win. The loss goes to, well, Heinz Russell, and they had a good time. And I tell you what, I told Miko that I'm getting my supplements and getting ready to get to the Mr. Bahamas competition, and I know Sheena gonna be so surprised. That is sports tonight.